Hey everybody, it's AJ Puedan, and today I've got one of the more intriguing, fascinating people I've ever talked to, here to talk to you. And this is everybody. This is Kelly O'Neill. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, I got it. So before we start our conversation, I really got to tell people what my experience of you has been.
Okay.
We've only actually met in person a few times,
hmm
and I'll tell you, each time that I've met you, just in our casual conversations, you have given me paradigm shifts that I have acted and actually shifted a major part of my business. So I don't know if you know that or not, but you've made a big impact on me just in my business in our casual conversations. I think you're genius, and very impactful, and so that's why.
Oh, well, thank you.
And
My
that's
ego is blushing.
say that again.
I said my ego is blushing. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
yeah, and that's doing business wise, I thought that was just really awesome. And then this last time I got a chance to talk to you, boy, you and I had this great heart to heart kind of conversation, and it's like, oh wow, it's like not only great in business, you really are getting some of the big heart pieces that I've always felt really makes a difference between business being cold or business being something of balance that actually brings you joy. I see too many entrepreneurs who are losing joy in their life because they want to be successful, and that's not what you're about. So I just had to say hello, had to get introduce people to you, and those sort of things. So I'm going to tell you, a lot of you who kind of know our industry, there's sometimes people promote other people, and there's these JVs where they get kind of compensated on that. I don't do that anymore. I only talk to people that I truly believe in, and so this is a thing where I'm just promoting. I want to promote you just because I believe in you. I've been in my business 26 years, and I say, nowadays, I no longer shop for seminars. I don't buy workshops. I don't buy those sort of things. What I do is I shop people. I say, who do I want to learn from? And then, great, let's go learn from them. It doesn't matter, what format they're doing. So, hey, so I talked enough. Sorry about that. Kind of could you give everyone just a quick nutshell of who you are and what it is that you're doing nowadays?
Sure. So, again, my name's Kelly O'Neill, and I started my career, interestingly enough, in corporate America,
Hmm.
and I was doing public relations and brand marketing strategy for not only startups but Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 corporations. So, as an example, I launched Quicken 98, 99, and 2000. I worked on a technology platform called Morpheus. Many of you may remember that from the Napster days.
Yeah.
So I was the publicist behind that, and love brand marketing strategy. But I'd always had this other piece of me. You talk about that heart piece. I've always been very devoted to my personal development and my personal and professional growth. I'm a big believer that if you're not learning, you're dying. So, I learn from everybody. I don't care if it's one of my students or my team members or, my mentors, my friends. I learn from everybody all the time. And so, when I had kind of wanted to get out of corporate America, I had a lot of people telling me I should be a business coach. And I didn't even know what that was. But what I had found out was I was already doing that. It was like kind of one of those things. I'm like, wait a minute, I could get paid for this too?
Yeah.
Like, I love this. I love the personal, kind of like the business mentoring, but also the personal development. And so I started my business coaching company back in 2001.
Hmm.
And over the course, so I've been at this for a really long time as well, and launched my Marketing to Millionaires program back in 2009, which some of you may know about, where I was teaching people to market to the affluent. And then, and have still helped people develop really strong business foundations and brand marketing strategies so that they can get well known.
Hmm.
Well, the other piece of that, as you know, AJ, because you're just so genius at this as well, is, there's the business development side, but then there really is that personal and what I personally am very devoted to is my spiritual development side.
Yeah.
And that's when I launched the Women's Leadership Academy just very recently.
You know, I've never talked to someone about business when it came down to getting real results. I haven't had to talk to them about the personal life, and vice versa. I've never talked about their personal life when I haven't had to talk about, you know, the way they feel and their productivity. Yeah. And so the fact that, you know, you have that awareness and you're teaching that, and I've actually, you know, how it's been like a couple of years we've known each other now, right?
Yeah.
A couple of years. And so, you know, over the times I've been able to see that you really walk your talk when you do that. Let me ask you, what, you know, aside from your unique background of just being, you know, of having some high level places to play, you know, what are some of the things that you think might, you know, that are unique to you, you know, that makes what you say special?
So, you know, I mean, so what I believe is, I believe we were all born completely unique. We're all unique. We're, you know, our souls are like, you know, our own special, it's like God's thumbprint, right? It's like everyone has a different fingerprint. So just each of us, who we are, makes us unique. So, you know, I think that what has really contributed to my success and in me being able to mentor my students to create such great success, it's that combination of actually having that real world business acumen, that background, but then really doing so much personal and spiritual development on my own and consistently. I mean, just, you know, my life experiences, my life has been like a training ground for the work that I do. And trust me, you know, like I grew up in the school of hard knocks, right? You know, I mean, I learned some doozy lessons the really, really hard way. And, you know, and I think that's kind of what's shaped me. I think that's what shapes all of us, isn't it? I mean, you know, we go through life and we have these experiences, and then hopefully, you know, we learn and we grow from those, and we incorporate that into more of who we are, so that we can serve the world in a more profound way.
You know, I think we all have a certain, I like to call it just a certain flavor. You know, sometimes things people say aren't necessarily incredibly different than someone else, you know, and yet the flavor of it is different because it's a person in that heart, that energy that's different. So, you know, one person teaching business, another person teaching business, they could be the same technique, so to say, except one could be more effective for one person than the other, mainly because of the flavor of that, and your experience has that certain flavor. And I like my conversations with you. What is kind of, now you've got a conference coming up, the 2013 Women's Leadership Conference. What's the focus of it? I mean, like who should attend it, and you know what would they be getting out of that?
So, you know what's so interesting? Here's what I love about this. So, as much as this is the Women's Leadership Conference, there's a bunch of men coming. You being one of them, which I'm so excited.
I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many men coming, and really the focus is leadership development, you know, business development and leadership development. The more that I've studied it, it's two different sides of the same coin. If you really want to be successful in your business and you really want to create massive change, which the entrepreneurs that I tend to work with, they're big into creating a movement bigger than them, right? Yeah. They don't just want a profitable business. They want to make an impact in the world. And to be able to really do that, you've got to be able to develop your leadership skills, because what happens, and this is, you know, part of what I learned the hard way, is if you're not standing as a leader solid, it's very easy to get knocked over. You know, and I think back to your question earlier, you know, what makes me different is I really have gotten to know who I am, and I'm very clear on what I stand for, what my unique purpose is in the world, what my mission is, what my values are, what my beliefs are, and I'm open to learning and growing every day. And because of that, that's why I'm able to lead movements like this, because I can stand in my core. And so that's really what the conference is about. You know, 95% of leadership is about you. It's your inner game. So we're going to be focusing a lot on really helping you to understand who you really are, not who you even think you are, or not who your ego is, but who you really are, because we were all born gifted with our own unique set of skills and talents and our own, like, as you say, your flavor, your personality, you know, like I'm a little ballsy, right? You know, I got a little mouth on me, and, you know, I'm really not afraid to speak my mind, and I'm so okay if not everyone's down with that. You know, we all have our own little unique flavor and personality that makes us who we are. So it's about finding your voice and then being able to share that in a way that helps align people to get on your mission with you. So the reason why this conference has been so well received is because the people who are, you know, like you, who you're really on the same mission with, you know, which is ultimately helping, you know, create a better humanity.
Yes.
We're all in this together. So coming together to learn, not only developing your own internal leadership skills, but then how do you actually apply that as you're leading a movement, as you're stepping up into the public eye. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately the little marketing piece of that, right? The flip side is then how do you package that in a way that's easily understood? So that's about building your marketing brand platform, which is what I worked with you and some of your colleagues on several years ago. Yeah. It's, you know, that's not just that one piece of it, but if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you stand for and you don't know what your vision is and you don't know what's important to you, it's easy to get off track.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that's kind of generic out there when people say leadership is that everyone's teaching leadership in the same way that leadership looks like this. Here's a package, and if you're not doing this, you're not being a leader. And what I really like about what you're saying is, well, before even that, who are you? Where's your strength and stuff? So what is your leadership? You know, personally, I've been a leader in many ways, mm-hmm. In many groups, and yet I don't think I fit the typical leadership mold at all, you know, in many ways. I think about, you know, there's this, you know, the DISC model of personalities, and I'm a high S personality, and most of the times we might think of leaderships as a D personality. So what does an S leader look like, you know? And right. I don't think there's a lot of examples, but, you know, you think of like a Gandhi, you know, here's a soft-spoken person, but a leader. You know, what's a soft-spoken leader look like? People don't know, you know. Leadership
is a personal journey, and it's totally unique to every one of us. There is no mold. You know, leadership really boils down to you being who you really are in a way that inspires people to join forces with you to create a common result.
That's awesome.
And you don't have to be any kind of, I mean, look, like, I'm not Mother Teresa, right? I mean, you know, she's super, you know, she was super, you know, quiet and, you know, very purposeful. I'm like loud and, you know, you know, look, we're all different. And that's part of like finding our own unique voice. And that's why it's such a personal journey. And it's really a journey of our own personal evolution and growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I'm going to ask you this question that I asked you last time we were together, and you know, this is a women's leadership conference, and mm-hmm. and I understand why you call it that, and I asked you, you know, that seems to be a good place. Like, I kind of fit with the energies. I feel you know, belonging there, and I asked you, you know, is there a place for a man in a women's conference? You know, it's like, it's kind of the opposite question. Where does a woman fit in a man's world, so to say? And I'm asking, well, you know, let's take the genders aside of that. You know, how do you see that fitting there? You know,
sure. So what really? Well, so here, let me answer that, and let me tell you why I specifically chose to work with women. Well, first of all, I didn't really choose; it chose me. Okay. Number one, let's just be clear. Like, God was like, you work with women. That's your job, right? So I'm just aligning and serving in the way that I feel called. But it's really not about men versus women. It's really about balancing masculine and feminine energy. Mm. You know, feminine energy is real. And actually, you said something that was so brilliant, and I'll have to ask you in a minute to repeat it. But feminine energy it's really about collaboration and a way of being in the world, and about caring more about, you know, even just in the way our brains are wired. Our brains are formulated differently, which I'm going to talk about at the conference. There's literal, like, biological, physiological differences in the way that we're wired. Like, our cerebral cortexes are built differently. You know, women are able to focus on multiple things at once. Men are very singularly focused. You know, men tend to be more concerned with or masculine energy tends to be more concerned with profits, whereas women are more concerned with doing, you know, purpose and doing well for everybody and being all inclusionary in that process.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about collaboration, whereas men tend to be more about competition. And so what I'm really about is it's not about men versus women. It's about the balancing of masculine and feminine energy. Because here's the truth. This can actually go the opposite way. If women are only in their feminine energy, and we see this a lot actually in the spiritual development community.
Uh-huh.
You know, I have a lot of people who come to me who are healers and coaches, and they're not grounded. So they're so in their feminine energy that they tend to not be able to actually get anything done, because they're not pulling on that masculine energy that's available to them to ground them and be able to focus on results.
Yeah.
And getting things done. So it's not about men versus women. It's about helping everyone become more balanced in our energetic approach so that we can do really well for the world and create results at the same time.
I was recently talking with a friend of mine, I guess kind of carrying on that conversation, and we got to the terms of yin and yang, you know, it's like, you know, the Chinese yin and yang. It's like, look, no, it's about both energies, having them in balance. I mean, you know, each side, there's no right or wrong. There's a pros and cons to each side. And it's about taking the pro side of each energy and utilizing that. I mean, as, you know, there's times where, you know, you got a productivity and you got, you know, attractiveness, you know, and one side, you know, a man needs to be very productive, and sometimes they need to be attractive to get other people to join them, you know, so that they can have a group. And same, you know, and females, you know, they want to be attractive, they want to attract things into their life, but at the same time, they need a certain amount of productivity at the same time.
But if I wasn't pulling on my masculine energy, there would be no conference. Let's be clear. Like, you know, if I wasn't like, okay, well, we need to get this done so that we can educate the world. Like, my feminine energy is the one who allowed myself the space to be and download this information and connect with my spirit and use my intuition to be able to drive the creation of it. But then I pulled on that masculine energy. That's why the room's filled, right? Otherwise we'd be all sitting there. You know, I'd be in that room by myself, being like, "Isn't this the greatest idea in the world?" You know, nothing would happen.
Yes, you know. So if, you know, for the audience watching us right now, again, if you are on that production side and yet you feel all alone, perhaps you need to turn on some of that feminine energy, so therefore you can find out, you know, where's your heart, what direction should you be going, you know, how to attract others into and enroll them into what you're doing. And then if you're the person who just feels, you know, really, you know, driven, passionate about things, but you're just not getting any real world results, you know, this conference will help you have that balance and that foundation is, I guess, what is that leadership that you're talking about. When a person's centered in who they are, that's attractive, and people want to follow that. You by default become that leader.
So managing a business is the doing piece, right? Managing is a very masculine energy. Leadership is a very feminine energy. It's about the being. Who are you being while you're running the business? Okay. And who are you being in order to inspire all of the people around you to step up and be a part of the movement?
Okay. Now, see, again, I'm getting these great distinctions about that, you know. That's awesome. So tell us, so your conference is coming up in the Las Vegas area, and it is January 31st?
It is. So we've got a special preview evening for our VIPs on the 30th. I'm actually bringing in my own personal energy healer, Shanti Pincock. She's coming in, and she's going to actually where she's going to talk about how we get into touch with that energy and our intuition, right? And she's going to be doing an energy clear on the room, which may sound a little woo-woo. Let me tell you, it's not. And that chick wears Chanel, right? So, like, she's not like, you know, she's not going to be like lighting incense and chanting and, you know, lighting fire everywhere. Like, you know, she's very down to earth. She's very.
I love how you take these concepts that may be kind of woo-woo in other places, but you just give it that down to earth thing, which makes it real.
It's the balance.
Yeah.
It's the balance. Like, she still gets results done, and she's, you know, but she's very in touch with her spirit. So that is on the 30th, and then it's the 31st, 1st, and 2nd. And you guys, let me tell you, I'm so excited about this conference, not only just because it's really something I feel called to do, but we have people flying in from literally all over the world. Australia, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Canada. I mean, really, they're coming in from everywhere. And a lot of really amazing JV people, people that you would know, best-selling authors, TV personalities. People are very excited about this movement that we're all creating together. It's not about me. It's not about me being, the guru or whatever. It's not about that. It's about all of us coming together and collaborating, which actually, AJ, that's, you asked that other question. Why did I choose women? Because women by nature are more co-collaborative, and we're able to we bind together naturally, and we spread the word. So this is why in that book, Half Their Sky, they talked about putting the focus on creating world change through women, because we tend to be the heads of the family. So like, as an example, just think about if 100 women come to this conference, and then they go and they teach this to all their children and to their husbands, right? And then they teach it to their friends. And then those women then go, oh my gosh, this is great. And they spread it to their friends. We're idea spreaders. So that's why I particularly chose to focus on women. And it's not about women. It's about all of us.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be in attendance there. I'll be there, and I want to invite everyone to join me and join Kelly and be part of this collaboration. So the website is 2013 Women's Leadership Conference.
Conference.
Yep.
.com.
And so send me a note. Let me know that you're going to join me up there. And
you've got a special link, yeah.
Yeah, I do. So they'll probably look down below, and that link will be right there for everybody. And other than that, hey, Kelly, thank you so much for allowing me to introduce you to my audience, because I know that it's going to be very impactful for them, and that makes it impactful for everybody. And thank you so much.
Well, and thank you so much for having me.